Welcome back. We're here at the Cubewise conference in Sydney at the Hilton. I'm here with Shan Attygale all the way from the Bank of Queensland. Yeah, so
all the way from sunshine Brisbane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for being here, Shan.
Cheers,
so yeah, you presented today,
Yep.
Earlier today around your TM1 upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a load of folks out there who are interested in really what you've got to say about your experience.
Yep.
Maybe your experience of a bank upgrading a piece of software is maybe a bit more involved than normal.
Yeah.
But take us through what your experience was from because you were on a very, very old version TM1.
Sure, and that defines a bank effectively. I mean, you don't necessarily treat a platform or a software to be treated unless it's burning bridge. We were on a 9.1.3 instance for a number of years, like since 2008, I believe, and
Right.
we really went through an upgrade. And there are a number of reasons for that, even though we kept pushing for an upgrade. I mean, it got the job done. It was still a stable version, since it was such an old version. Still got the work done. It was slightly slow here and there, but it was never a burning bridge.
And it was serving how many people?
Well, I mean, from a web point of view, it pretty much served all our branch network, 800 odd users effectively. And the real core of it was just our perspectives user base, which is around 80 odd users, and they've been using it for so long. Like the discussion we had in the morning with where there's habitual bits that they've got used to, they want to move away from.
Inertia.
Inertia effectively.
Yeah.
So there's resistance here on, you want to upgrade and change our work practices effectively. That wasn't the case in this case. It was a direct upgrade path for us, which we didn't even think it was possible to jump from such an old version into Planning Analytics 2.04.
Well, that's TM1's legendary simplicity for you, isn't it?
Absolutely,
you just,
absolutely.
Just upgrade it and just start it up, and it works on the data.
Exactly, yeah. And with the bells and whistles in this case as well. And we've seen massive performance uplifts to the point where things that took probably about 90 seconds to load nowadays takes about less than 5 seconds.
Right.
Probably the multi-threading bits and stuff that's coming into place, which really existed during our versions.
Yeah.
But it's been happy days effectively, since the upgrade, which has been about 3 months now, I reckon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the actual time that it took to go from old TM1 to the Planning Analytics, like the actual effort from your folks, not necessarily the
duration,
IT hardware, whatever.
Yeah, I think the actual grunt work of converting our model and then rolling it out was literally less than a month or less than 2 weeks. I say.
Right. Yeah.
But if you look at, and this is an interesting point if you're dealing with the bank, is there's a lot of regulatory focus on it, and there's a lot of approvals and hoops and agreements you've got to jump through. So the whole project lasted about 10 months for us, and pretty much 6 or 7 months of that was purely getting the commercials in place.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
and then a couple of weeks of
implementation effectively.
Grunt work, yeah.
I mean, in our case, we had to deal with 3 external vendors. I mean, obviously Cubewise played a massive role in terms of the actual upgrade itself, but we had to move to a newer licensing model with IBM effectively, so that commercial agreement took a while to get through.
Yeah.
And our infrastructure for Bank of Queensland is actually hosted with another third party. Again, hosting or setting up the new infrastructure for the servers and all of that took us a while, and getting the agreements for that actually took way longer than we expected. And that's just a norm for a bank. And when a bank is operating in a space where they're dealing with external vendors, there's a lot of scrutiny around there.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So would you say that there's any learnings from a technical sense of upgrading to Planning Analytics, or is there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the biggest learning curve for us is when we had gone from TM1 9.13 to PAL 2.04. Essentially, our use case was purely for TM1 web and perspectives, and that's what has been our plan, right? So our users have adopted that quite well, because for them there's no real change apart from the performance. I guess the learning for us is how do we then convert that conversation into, getting them to use packs instead of perspectives, and then getting them to, figure out a use case for POR, Planning Analytics Workspace, effectively, and where would that actually fit in our niche segments rather than doing a big bang rollout.
Right. Okay. It's coming.
It's coming. I mean, and this is 10 years of work practices will have to change, right? I mean, that's going to be slow, effectively. If we do a big bang, they're never going to adopt it, like many other techs. So that's probably going to be our next big challenge, and probably the key learning. And interesting hearing the guys over here, the learnings they've had in terms of rolling things out like POR and packs and what the challenges they've left it. That's a few learnings for us to take back. And
Okay. Good. All right. So you've given and you've taken something back as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
All right.
That's for sure. I guess the biggest challenge we would see is we do not want to wait for another 10 years for the next upgrade.
Okay. Well, let's hope. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
That's
and
all right.
thanks for
Pleasure
coming
to be
down
here.
and sharing with the community.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Shan. Okay.